Hey everybody, welcome back for another memory keeping plan with me. So this is for the week of November 24th through the 30th, which was Thanksgiving here in the States, but also the new episodes of Stranger Things dropped this week. So I used a Stranger Things themed kit from Cinderella Paper. This is a very old format from a while ago. I remember picking this one up because I hadn't used this art yet from Kittenish Jess, and I wanted to make sure that I used it when the last season started coming out. So there's lots of different character full box options. You'll notice a couple of characters that I left out. I also brought in Plan a Hannah foil that I had left over in sparkly red, as well as Simply a Mess quote overlays that shop is no longer open, but those are in like a sparkly hollow. And then I brought in Carly Plan's 4 seasons sheets for Stranger Things icons. It's called Friends Don't Lie. You can still get these in her shop. But everything else that you see in the video for the core of this base is not going to be for sale anymore, unfortunately. I didn't realize that Dustin was included in this art because it wasn't included in this kit, but Pink Planner Shop just brought back like a few older Stranger Things art sets for the last few episodes. So that's how I found out that Dustin was included in this art originally, which I totally would have used a box of him if he had been included, but oh well. So yeah, spoilers ahead for the first 4 episodes of season 5. I'm planning to get this up before Christmas, so I won't have seen the next few episodes that are coming out on Christmas. So no spoilers in the comments for episodes 5 through 7, but there will be spoilers in this video for episodes 1 through 4 because I watched those this week and I don't remember everything that happened, but like it's going to be hard to film this video and talk about the season without spoiling anything. So if you haven't watched the first 4 episodes of season 5, maybe do that and then come back to this video another time. I loved how this included the photo booth strips with Nancy and Barb, Justice for Barb, Forever for Always. There's also the drawing on the paper plate that Mr. Clark did. So I freaking love that Mr. Clark made a reappearance, however brief it was, in season 5. Thank you for bringing that back. I missed him so much in season 4 because obviously he's a middle school teacher and they had moved on to high school. So I love him. I love him so much. Anyway, so his little drawings in there as well as the walkie-talkie. Of course, we have the iconic Christmas light scene. And then I'm going to include Max, of course, because duh, as well as Lucas. Sorry, I always get Lucas, the character's name, and Caleb, the actor's name, mixed up because like Lucas and Caleb are very similar sounding names. Am I right? So I always forget which one's the actor's name and which one is the character's name. But yeah, it's had to include Max and Lucas, obviously. My opinion, 2 best characters on the show. And wanted to include the mall scene, even though season 3 was not my favorite. Like as far as seasons go, I think season 3 was my least favorite. There's still things I like about it, but not my favorite scene. But I do love the mall nostalgia, and I did go to the mall against my better judgment on Black Friday, so I thought that was funny to include that. And then of course we've got the Mind Flayer, because honestly season 2 I think might be my favorite season. I think it might be. Even with whatever happens to Bob, at least we had Bob at some point, you know. I'm a Bob fan. Justice for Bob. Justice for Muse. Justice for Barb. There's so many we've lost along the way. Some who were great characters and some who were good characters in terms of like interesting storylines, but terrible people, am I right? Anyway. Then I'm going to put both boxes that have Will in them in the sidebar, because I liked that the missing kid poster was there, but then also him on his bike. And obviously Will's gonna be like super important this season. There's a big spoiler. I kind of knew what happened at the end of chapter 4 was probably going to happen. I feel like they've laid the groundwork for that, where it's like clearly Will is connected in some way to this whole situation. And so when they're like, he's actually powerful, I'm like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen, but that was epic to see. And I really liked the like opening scene, like the first 5 minutes of him like showing what happened when he got taken into the Upside Down in season 1. I really enjoyed that. I know people online love to complain about so many things with like the actors' ages and stuff with this show, and I'm like, okay, so in 2016 when this show first came out, Charlie Heaton and Natalia Dyer and Steve, not Steve. Well, yeah, Steve, the character, but what's his real name? Joe. Those are another couple of names that in my head are the same, Steve and Joe. They're the same type of person. But they were all like, I mean, they're all like about my age. And in 2016, I was 24 already. So like they were playing high schoolers. But now the kids, quote unquote, who were like 11, 12 at the beginning of the show are now like 21, 22 max. And they're playing teenagers. For some reason, that's not okay. I don't know. I guess I can suspend my disbelief enough to believe that they're still in high school and like young adults. I guess I'm alone in that, but you can let me know. It doesn't bother me. I'm fine with it. So anyway, moving on from that, I don't want to engage too much with like the super negative, nitpicky opinions on the internet. I overall really enjoyed the season so far. I think it's doing what it needs to do, which is entertain me. And yeah, I'm liking it. The stuff with Max in the Cape, I'm jumping like all around in episodes. I'm so sorry, but it's all kind of just like a blur in my mind. I am going to try to rewatch the first 4 episodes before the new episodes drop on Christmas. But the stuff with Max is really interesting. I'm loving that Holly Wheeler is having her moment. I'm not a Wheeler family fan like at all. Holly has been the only Wheeler that I've had any love for the whole time this show's been on. Probably because she hasn't talked this whole time, but now she's important, and I love her storyline. I think it's really interesting, and I love that Max is like, we've met before, and Holly's just like, what? And like, that's such a little kid type of thing to just completely forget about somebody who was probably important at some time. So yeah, I like the Holly and Max storyline. I'm interested to see where that goes. Was not expecting what happened to Karen to happen to Karen. Honestly, I thought they were just gonna kill Ted and Karen off immediately, quite frankly. So, and given their injuries, people in the medical community were talking online. They're like, am I really supposed to believe that I saw Ted's whole pericardium and he survived that? I'm like, that is a good point. I thought he was a goner. So then they get to the hospital and they're like, no, he's just in a medically induced coma. I'm like, okay. And this is probably a really unpopular opinion. I don't get the Ted hate. Like, I get it, but also I'm like, we've all had a father and a grandfather figure in our life, right? Who wasn't always emotionally available. Like, you know, we've all been there. Like, I don't know, he kind of reminds me of like, honestly, both my grandfathers, who got more emotionally available as grandparents, but like stories I've heard from when they were younger, maybe not so much. I don't know. That doesn't bother me. I feel like I'm just like, yeah, Ted's the typical 80s dad. Is that just me? Maybe that's just me. I don't hate him. Do I love him? No. Do I hate him? Also no. But I did think they were going to just kill him off, honestly. Was not expecting Karen to be in the situation that she's in. But also, once I saw that, I was like, oh, she's a goner. She's a goner. And then somehow she's fine. But yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do with the Wheeler parents. But it'll be interesting to see. I feel like they wouldn't like partially save them only to have them die later. But we'll see. So yeah, more interesting stuff going on with the Wheelers. I really am not into this love triangle thing with Nancy and Jonathan and Steve. Don't love it. Have never loved it. My dream for Nancy, who is not my favorite character, I think we've talked about this before. I think the parts of her that bug me might be parts of my own personality. I'm not 100% sure, but there's some things with her where I'm just like, girl, what? You're privileged. Like, calm down. So I get it, but I also don't get it. But this whole like back and forth, this whole like ongoing love triangle over like 5 seasons, I'm just like, I'm over it. Personally, if I think she has to be with anybody, I think it should be Jonathan. That's also an unpopular opinion, apparently, I've learned. But really, my dream for Nancy, I think she should be able to go away to college once this whole like lockdown situation is over, hopefully. I'm assuming that's where we're headed at some point. I don't want her killed off. I don't think that would be interesting. I want her to go away to Emerson or wherever she was going to go and Just get away from Hawkins, Indiana. Side tangent. I want you to think about this for a second. 1987, 19-year-old Nancy Wheeler has more rights to her own body than current 19-year-old women in Indiana. You can look it up. I did. I was like, I'm just thinking about this for a second about bodily autonomy. Yeah, isn't that wild? That's crazy. Anyway, you can fact check me on that, but I just thought that was interesting to think about. But yeah, that's my dream for Nancy. She doesn't end up with anybody from Hawkins, and she goes in and lives her life. And because I feel like a privileged white woman in the 80s from a small town, that's generally what happened, you know? My biggest gripe with Nancy and also Karen Wheeler is like the kind of very like white feminism plotline in season 3. I did not enjoy that at all. I was just like, oh, I get it, but also like you guys are not suffering the most out of anyone in the world right now. You guys will be fine. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I'm a big Wheeler family hater. Sorry if you like them. They're just kind of insufferable. So yeah. Got a lot of hot takes here. What else from season 5 so far? I'm glad Will is, finally having his moment. Mike Wheeler, going back to my Wheeler family hate, Mike is like surprisingly cheery right now, which is weird to me. Like he's been such a grumpus most of the series, but now like everything's really terrible. And now he's like very chipper. Anybody else notice that? That's a little weird to me, but I'm not going to belabor that point. My heart breaks for Dustin. I just want to take Dustin under my wing. My poor baby boy. Where's his mom? Where's his Muse 2, Muse the second, the cat? He's very much like on his own right now after everything that happened with Eddie. And I feel like feels very abandoned and is not making great decisions. Let's be real. I'm like, Dustin, don't do that. Don't go there. Don't do that. But at the same time, I'm like, I totally get where he's coming from because he's hurting and I just want to hug him. So I feel like Lucas didn't get enough of anything so far. I mean, can we do something with Lucas, please? I feel like the moments with him talking to Max are like sweet and playing the tape for her and all of that. But I feel like they haven't done much with him yet. And same thing with Joyce. I'm kind of like, other than fighting with her son a little bit, I feel like there's not much going on there. Robin's getting a lot of time. I love her whole hosting a radio show thing. I think that's hilarious. That's wonderful. I love it. But yeah, who else? I haven't talked about 11 at all. I think her plotline's pretty straightforward at this point. I think the big reveal of like, what's her name? Kali is back or still around. That's interesting. But I think that kind of sums up my thoughts from everything I can remember. Oh, the new Turnbow kid. I think he's hilarious. At first I was like, we're really going to introduce more new characters, but this kid actor, I'm a fan. He's funny. And when he says something like really crude, like screaming it at Robin, and she's like, Jesus Christ, what? I'm like, that was exactly my reaction watching that scene. I'm like, that is like every elementary school teacher right now with kids saying the wildest stuff. They're like, what did you just say? That was so funny. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the Turnbow family edition. Even just like the little moments we get with his other family members, those were so funny and spot on. And I think that's about it. Is it bad that Henry Creel, like adult Henry Creel, his outfit with the hat and everything, I'm into it a little bit? Yeah, that's probably wrong, but Jamie Campbell Bower is a very nice looking person, so what can you do? I don't know. But yeah, that took us through the base, all my very rambly, unorganized thoughts. I wrote no notes for this video. You're so welcome. And I had a lot of hot takes in there, so you can totally disagree with me. I'm not going to take it personally, by the way. I've definitely had arguments with people about other pop culture shows, movies, etc., where like they took it personally if someone didn't agree with them. I'm not like that. I don't care. It's pop culture. Who cares? It's supposed to be enjoyed. So if you differ in your opinions about these things, please feel free to discuss down below. So in the sidebar, I am marking that we barely saw the sun this week. The Tulle fog descended upon the California Central Valley, so we didn't see the sun for a few weeks. So that little mug is from Corks and Corks Co. And then I only worked a half week this week, so I used a little light bulb sticker from the Carly Plans sheet from one of the Stranger Things sheets. You'll see across the top, this kit didn't come with any deco bits, so I used the Carly Plans icons, the ones that I didn't use in the spread, as my deco. So it kind of spanned, I went chronologically. So the first half of the page is a lot of season 1 and 2, and the second half of the page is a lot of seasons 3 and 4. And I did color block this kit. It was a little tricky with some of the patterns. Like on Thursday, you'll notice the pattern doesn't quite match up with the color, but we will live with it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get into marking the day by day. Sorry if you can hear any jingle bells in the background. The sweater I am wearing has bells on it because it's a Christmas sweater. So sorry if that picks up, but I have to like move my hands when I talk. It's just how I am. Monday, the first thing I marked was that it was foggy. It was a little redundant from what I marked in the sidebar, but that's fine. I'm gonna pull in a little fall leaf sticker from a Caress Press freebie. I went and taught my classes because we did not have a fall break at either of the colleges that I taught at. So that was fun. Very low attendance this week. Unsurprising. They didn't necessarily have to be in class, but I had to show up and hold class. So yeah, oh well. I graded papers, so both of those stickers are from Sweet Ava's Paper, and then I got myself a Happy Meal, so that is from Bella Planella. Then I came home and took a nap because I was going to have my evening class, so I have these cute cat stickers from Bunny Bear Plans. I believe you can still get this PR freebie. It's a PR freebie, I think, for her cat. So I think the cat's name is like Harriet or something, so if you put that in the notes or you use that as a coupon code, you can get this freebie. Then I filmed part of a haul, so that's from Sweet Ava's Paper, and so is this next sticker that I'm going to mark conferences with my night class. That's how I'm marking conferences with my night class. So that was kind of how I navigated Thanksgiving week with my night class because we still had a couple of weeks left in the semester. So I'm like, okay, we'll just do one-on-one meetings instead of regular class. But my morning class, we only had like 1 week of the semester after this. So I had to do conferences like 2 weeks before this because of where they matched up with their research projects, like when they would actually be helpful. So that's why I had regular class this week for my morning and afternoon classes. And then we were just watching Game Grumps on YouTube this evening, so I marked that with a Mario Party sticker from Sweet Ava's Paper. Tuesday, I marked my countdown to our vacation, so that's from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. I did some yoga, so I'm going to pull in a sneaker from the Prairie Planner, and then I had my Zoom office hours and graded more papers, so I'm going to pull in a grading icon from Sweet Ava's Paper. Then in the second half of the day, I voiced over a plan with me, so I have another sticker from Sweet Ava's Paper, and then I just went and rewatched all of the Stranger Things 5 trailers this night because there were some that I hadn't even seen actually, and also I just wanted to get kind of hyped for the new season, so I went and watched all of those on Netflix. So I have a Demogorgon icon from Carly Plans. These quotes, most of the quotes in here are from Dustin, the ones I had left over. I didn't realize they were from Dustin. I'm like, man, that kid had a lot of funny one-liners. So even if his face is not present in this art set, his voice is here. There's a lot of quotes from Dustin here. And then at the end of the night, I just watched Josh Johnson on YouTube. So that is from Pink Diamond Planner, who's no longer open. Wednesday, I went and taught my classes again. I'm not kidding. In my afternoon class, I had like 6 students, I'm pretty sure, because it was the day before Thanksgiving. And there were like 22 students enrolled at that point. We started with 27, but some people got dropped because they ghosted me. So yeah, I taught them what I could to get ready for their final project. And yeah, those who showed up had less homework because we basically just did the homework in class. I lesson planned for the next week so that I wouldn't have to worry about it when I came back on Monday. And then I graded more papers. And then I came home, took another nap with Evie. Evie came and laid on my chest and napped with me. Had more conferences. And then after like 8:30, I could finally slam my laptop shut till Monday and watch Stranger Things. So we watched the first couple of chapters this evening. So I'm going to mark that with a Hellfire Club sweatshirt from Carly yeah, Carly Plans. So episode 1 was basically just like kind of setting the premise, right? With Holly and all of them, with the Byers living with the Wheelers at this point. And they did make Ted Wheeler set up to be kind of a jerk in that scene, I will say. Like, he's just like, when are they gonna leave? I'm like, Ted, that's how I knew Ted was gonna have something happen to him. He had to have a come to Jesus moment. I think the Demogorgon attack in what was episode 2. I think that was his come to Jesus moment. I was like, in that scene, I really thought Ted was going to be a goner. Like, I'm just like, he was a jerk, and then but maybe they're giving him a redemption arc. Maybe. Or maybe they'll forget about him. Maybe they'll forget to do anything with him. That could happen. I hope that doesn't happen. But we only got 4 episodes left to figure him out. So anyway. Then on Thursday, of course, it was Thanksgiving, so I'm going to mark that with a pumpkin pie molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. We slept in. It was really nice. And then we got ready and went to my parents' house. So I'm going to put in a makeup palette from Sweet Ava's Paper. And then I have this gravy boat sticker from Caress Press from that freebie, because one of the main things I helped with was the gravy. My husband was helping with like the stuffing and the sweet potatoes. The turkeys were already going by the time we got there. So, and my dad makes turkey really well, actually. Like, I don't understand when people don't like turkey, but that's because my dad actually knows how to cook it so it doesn't dry out. So that's why I really like turkey, I think. And then we had our big dinner with most of the family. So I have a little turkey from Caress Press. And then one of my sisters decided to make a family Jeopardy board. So if you don't know, there's a website you can use to make your own Jeopardy. It's very popular in education. I've come across it before. So she made one with lots of weird family facts. And my husband participated as well. Like, the significant others participated as well. My husband obviously had more of an advantage than some of the newer SOs because he's been around for 13 plus years. So he picked, I forget if he picked it or what, or somebody else picked it. It was the random category for like 500 or whatever. And my sister, who made this, when she was like 3 years old, she had this random thing. Hopefully this is fine to talk about, Jennifer. If you're watching, let me know. But she had this thing, this knock knock joke she told, where it was like, knock knock, who's there? Banana. And then the punchline that she would cackle at was like, banana jumped in the oatmeal. And I was like, so I'm 10 years older than her. So I was like 13 when this happened, and I lost it. So it's just been like a family meme ever since. And because then she would try and do it with other things, but the original knock knock joke was the one that had the most impact. So that was the thing. It was like, the blank was banana, and it was like, blank jumped in the oatmeal or something like that. Like, half of the phrase was missing. And my husband like very confidently like buzzes in and was like, repeats the phrase or fills out the phrase, and everyone just lost it because they're like, how does Nathan know about this? It was so funny. Like, everyone was cheering. I wish I had it on video. It was hilarious, and I was very proud of him in that moment. I'm like, yeah, you listen to me when I tell stupid stories. So yeah, I marked that with a family time munchkin from Once More with Love. And then my husband made an apple pie from apples that we had gotten from Apple Hill the week before, and it turned out really nice. So I put a slice of apple pie in from Carly Plans, and then a bunch of us played Mario Party on the Switch. So that's from Sweet Ava's Paper. Friday, I marked Black Friday shopping. My sisters, I wanted to spend time with them before they went back to San Diego, and so they were going to the mall. So I'm like, I'll go to the mall, even though I don't really want to go to the mall on Black Friday. And parking was terrible at the mall we decided to go to, because this mall will not die, because it's a pretty nice mall. So there's lots of people there. So this one guy decided to get really angry with us because we quote unquote stole his parking spot, because we arrived. We were there before him actually, but he seemed to think that he got there first, and that was like his spot. So he got out of the car and like started like ramming himself into the driver's side window where my husband was, and he wanted like my husband to like get out of the car or like roll the window down, and my husband's like, no. And finally he went away, but it was just really scary. And I'm like, I screamed Merry Christmas at him as he was walking away, because it's just like, you're really going to act like that with Santa on the way? Really? Stupid. So anyway, after we calmed down from that, we went into the mall and met up with my sisters and my brother and his girlfriend and did a whole bunch of shopping. I will not participate in this ever again. Like, it was nice to spend time with people, but I need to not be at the mall on Black Friday because people have lost the plot on what the holidays are about. I mean, I feel like it's gotten worse. It's been a while since I've been in a mall on Black Friday or been at the outlets. I used to go to the outlets on like Black Friday, but people are just rude and mean, and yeah. I don't act like that. My family doesn't act like that, but other people definitely do. So again, worth it to spend time with my family, but people suck out there. So yeah. Then I came home and did some online shopping. So that's from Plan With Me stickers. I also ordered a silhouette and bought some stickers for myself. So I did my Christmas shopping for other people, and then I did a little bit of shopping for myself. And then we watched chapters 3 and 4 of Stranger Things season 5. So I have the little Running Up That Hill cassette tape from Carly Plants. I keep forgetting her shop name. I don't know why. She's been quite established for a while. Saturday, I marked Small Business Saturday with a sale label from Beneva Creations. I used Steve's car, or not, is it Steve or Jonathan's car? I actually don't know. Whoever's car from the Carly Plans sheet to mark that my dad picked us up. Because we were going to Berkeley for the football game. So the first stop was a place called Butcher's Son, which is like a vegan deli. So we got some food to go. So I marked that with an icon from Cinderella Paper. And then we went to the football game. It was so cold this night. It was so cold. We were all freezing. And then the hot cocoa machines in the football stadium broke. So I couldn't even relieve myself with that. So I did get a beer, which kept me warm for a while, but then I got cold because there was no hot cocoa. It was very sad. However, we did win, which was exciting. It was a very close score, and like we were down to the wire. Like we were going back and forth with SMU a lot, and it was quite stressful towards the end of that game. But we rallied and we won, so that was nice because it was the last the last game of the season. So we pulled through. That's from Itty Bitty Sticker Co., the football player. And then I just marked that it was cold with this beer stein from Corks and Corks Co. Sunday, I marked countdowns for both a concert that we're going to and a vacation we're going on. I marked that it was the first Sunday of Advent. I had cramps. And then I started on Instagram this 30-day song challenge for My Chemical Romance, just to have some fun with Instagram. I played with Clover, and then I started decorating for Christmas. So the Christmas tree was already up because it had come in the mail a week before, and I realized I didn't have lights for it, so I needed to go buy lights. So we couldn't decorate the tree yet, but I put up the stockings and anything else that didn't go on the tree I brought out at this point. So that was fun. And then I started watching this series from like 8 years ago called Beyond Stranger Things, which was just like behind the scenes of season 2. So I marked that with a Coke can from the Carly Plans Stranger Things sheets. So that is everything for Thanksgiving week. That is everything for Stranger Things season 5 week. Again, I have not watched, or I will not have watched, the rest of the episodes by the time this video goes up. So no spoilers for episodes 5 through 7, please. But feel free to chat with me about episodes 1 through 4 down below. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.